Number one in your Minnesota Wild prospect pool is none other than Jesper Wallstedt.
Hoppy, why do you hate him?
Swedish Wall. I love him.
Tell us why you hate him.
I love him. He's inside my top 5, unlike the guys you hate.
Tell us why you hate him. I need to know.
Because goalies are fucking voodoo, man. Let's put it this way. Jesper Wallstedt, I think he is awesome. I was thrilled, as Brett mentioned earlier, that they drafted him. I love his personality. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a goalie through and through, but he's like got the goofy, bubbly personality where he's like almost like a Marc-Andre Fleury. Love his whole Swedish meatball bit. But for me, we won't know for at least 3 more years whether or not he's a true number 1 goalie. I think there's no question that he's at least like a 1B looking at how he projects and profiles. But for me to put him number 1 in the pool over these guys that I think are going to be a number 1 pairing defenseman, first lines, like forward capable, I need to know that he's going to be a 1 or a 1A. And I don't know that yet. Do I think that like ceiling exists? Abso-fucking-lutely. But I am not ready to say that is what he's going to be. He is a guy that's going to be an NHLer, no question. He is not going to be a backup, quote unquote, but 1B is the floor. I want to see what the ceiling is, and that's going to take a couple of years to figure out. That's my stance on why I rated him lower than all of you.
All right, the real reason is he hasn't interviewed him yet. That's why. If you would have interviewed him, then he would be number 1.
Only if he gives me meatballs. That's all.
I'll push back on that specific bit, though. Not bit. You said meatball. I thought bite. I was like, oh, I'm kind of hungry.
I have yet to eat dinner tonight. I'm starving.
Oh, bro. We're almost done. We're almost done, boys.
Boys, are we going?
I haven't had dinner since yesterday. But my pushback on that part is like, so you say he's not a backup. Floor is 1B. You can't put him at number 1 or over like the other guys, at least in your top 3, because you don't know for sure what they're going to be. I don't really know if we can say that we know for sure what any of these guys are going to. The closest probably is Khusnutdinov because he's played 20 games in the NHL.
Oh, weird.
You know what I mean?
Do not.
That's my pushback.
Do not.
Oh, this is amazing.
So kick Isha out.
I am buying all the Kirkland stock possible right now.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have a hell of a night, boys.
Well, that's just like really like that's my pushback.
But it's a goalie. It's a goalie, man.
Right. So let's say they all hit. So let's say all the prospects hit. Right. Let's say everyone in our top 10 hits. Jesper Wallstedt as a goaltender, if he doesn't and he sucks, that automatically takes everyone down a couple of pegs. Because if you can't rely on that guy to make one fucking save, it doesn't matter how many goals a guy like Ritchie or Khusnutdinov or fucking Buium, how he played this year, or Yurov or anyone scores. If you're having to put up like 4 or 5 goals every game, that automatically makes everyone's like job more difficult. So that's why I put him number 1.
It's like playing for the Edmonton Oilers.
So your argument is that we are stuck with the law is that for the next 10 years, Jesper Wallstedt is one of the Minnesota Wild goalies. Like, that's kind of bullshit.
I'm saying their numbers. We're projecting their ceilings out.
My biggest thing is
ceilings out. Hey, if Buium doesn't hit, fine, whatever. We've got all of our other guys that are forwards as possible. Like, if Wallstedt doesn't hit,
he's more important.
Really,
sure.
You don't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I put him at number 1.
Agreed. I agree that he's the most important. I'm just saying we've seen,
and his ceiling is number 1 goalie, which is the most important position. Realistically,
agreed. I agree.
I think his ceiling's higher. I think his ceiling is like franchise goaltender. Like,
okay. Well,
we're talking about ceiling. We're talking about ceiling.
Yeah.
And my piece 5 years out.
Well, and my
piece can't say that about any player then.
3.
Like you can't say that.
No, I don't agree. I think a lot, at least at the forward position. Defense, I'll hear your argument because it takes longer to adapt. At forward, players don't hit their stride and get their big contract when they're 28 anymore. They get it way earlier.
Our number 6 ranked prospect's Khusnutdinov, and he's like a middle to bottom 6 guy.
Don't tell Isha that.
My biggest thing here, and guys, hear me out. Like goalies, we can all agree that like they take the longest to develop usually. He's 21 years of age, and he's already checked all the boxes that you want a goalie. That you wait, no, let me finish.
Which historically is extremely uncommon.
Exactly. Whether it was the Swedish Junior League, the Swedish B League, the SHL, AHL. Dude, look at his numbers in the AHL right now, and he was 19 and 20 years old when he put those up, dude.
Goalies torch in the AHL, man. I am not saying that.
But not at this age. You haven't seen them at this age.
Not saying I don't believe in Jesper Wallstedt.
You haven't seen them torch in the AHL at this age.
A great prospect. He has played 2 or 3 NHL games. He got fucking lit up in Dallas where he got hung out to dry. Completely understandable. He looked great against the worst fucking team in the league. I do not know what he is. I have nothing to measure him on. That's why he is my number 4 prospect in this pool.
Other than he's the youngest goalie.
And again, my pushback was just literally like, all right, if you're going to say about these guys. But
no, I understand your pushback. I do.
Dude,
it's the goalies versus any other. It's the unpredictability factor for goalies.
So here's the company that Wallstedt's in. So depending how many games he plays this year, but here's some goalies.
He's not going to play much this year, but
who at the age of 21 played more than 25 games post 2000. Let's see.
More than 25 NHL games?
Yep.
He's not getting there.
In a season, we have Carey Price, Marc-Andre Fleury, Steve Mason, Roberto Luongo, a name that shall not be named, Jonas Korpisalo,
Cam who's Ward, the name who shall not be named?
No, it needs to be named.
Criminal.
You can't do that.
He's a criminal.
Well, name him anyways.
And Semyon Varlamov. Yeah. And Varlamov. Like, that's pretty damn good company.
We could throw Varlamov in like the we shouldn't talk. Fuck that guy, by the way.
Yeah, actually, Varlamov's a piece of shit too.
Yeah, he had a good. I'm just career-wise. He
bad
guy.
Very bad.
I don't know, dude. His ESPN commercial was lit.
That was
but he's still.
I take it back.
No, again, I think Jesper Wallstedt is awesome. I put him more because goalies scare the fuck out of me until I see them do some stuff in their mid-20s. I don't know what the fuck he is. That's why I can't reasonably put him at 1. Do I think
the volatility factor is scary. Yeah.
Well, and even like
my excitement factor, let's be clear. My excitement factor, I would put him number 1. Am I the most excited about the possibilities of this prospect? Yes. Do I think that he is my number 1? Like, I think he has the highest, like, I expect him to pan out this way. It's a goalie. I just can't confidently say it. I can't.
No, and I get that. It's just, I think the reason why we all put him at 1 is because like we haven't seen someone so young, like I said, check all the boxes, pass all the tests.
Hey, I have not said that I have any problem with you guys all putting him 1. I'm explaining why I put him 4.
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem at 4 either, because the other thing is, we said this all the time on some of the Foghorn, especially.
It's pretty fucking awesome if he's number 4, by the way. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, exactly. And we had a huge debate in our show about whether or not the Wild could draft Askarov the year that I think that was year they didn't take Goldie.
Yeah.
And it's just the fact that goaltending is voodoo. Like, it's so hard to be good year after year after year. I think Jay Fresh just like did like a I think he's doing like polls on like, okay, who do you think is the best goalie in the league?
Yeah.
And like Philip Gustafsson end of last year was like 9, and this year he was like, I think below 30. Like, and it's just like that can happen. Like very few, like there's maybe a couple right now, like Shesterkin, Hellebuck, and maybe like there might be 2 or 3 others that like consistently every year have been like a top 10 goaltender, but it fluctuates so much. But I think the best years of Wallstedt might surpass any best years we get from anyone else.
They absolutely.
And it's funny too.
I respect the volatility. I respect it because I've been giving him shit, and that I knew he was going to salivate over this opportunity. But like, my
watch, Hoppy's going to interview him, and he's going to be number 1 in our midseason. I swear to God.
My top 3 are Buium, Yurov, and Height. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna like apologize that I think those 3 have a safer upside than Wallstedt. I'm not saying that they
even-
will be better. That's a safer upside in my personal opinion.
Yeah, and even like speaking to that point, to the volatility, like it factor like that happens with goalies in season where it's like Hellebuck was one of the greatest goalies we've ever seen in the regular season this year, and the playoffs. Oh my fucking god!
Shit is
In other years, Winnipeg has been complete dog shit, and he's the only reason they've stretched a playoff series out to like 5 fucking games.
Totally.
So there you go. But my whole thing is just the fact that like any of the guys in that top 4, probably I could have put at number 1, but assuming they all hit, the most valuable player to me in my brain is Wallstedt, because if you don't have a guy in net, I think everyone else's skill set drops tenfold. Whereas if they don't, Wallstedt's proven for like 5 years playing pro hockey in Sweden that like he's still going to make all the saves. He's proven that he's going to give you a chance to win pretty much every fucking night.
Sure. Is it safe for me to say then, Z, that your ranking of like Wallstedt being 1 is more about positional need for the organization versus like the actual rankings within the prospect pool? Like if you just looked at the Wild's prospect pool, there was no NHL team and you didn't know where spots needed to be filled, would that change your rankings at all? Maybe not.
I'm still taking Wallstedt.
I don't even think it's, for me, it's not even by
even
team,
when they
it's just
took
the
him-
position as a whole.
Yeah.
Even when they took him, I've had him above Askarov.
You were pretty negative on Askarov, weren't you?
Not negative, but it was just like
he was
I
drafted
don't
too
know
high.
how you. Well, not even that. More like if you're gonna like look at goalies, I feel way fucking better about the play, like the style that a guy like Wallstedt plays.
Yes.
A lot of that probably has to do with the fact that I've had Tuukka Rask in Boston for fucking 15 fucking years, where it's just like,
Well, he sucks though, doesn't he? That's what fans say.
if you ask like 1 out of every 10 people, but like they're the loudest on Twitter,
It blows my mind. I am obsessed with
Sports
Tuukka Rask, and it makes me
you
so
can
mad.
blame
that
Felger.
Boston
You can blame those. Everyone cover your. I won't actually say the word. The C-bombs at the Sports Hub Network. You can blame them. It's crazy.
Tim Thomas, man, he's
Yeah. There you go. There's a scar. There you go. You have a scar up that. But you just feel so much better about a guy like Wallstedt or a guy like Rask, where there's just like, yeah, every save they make does not look hard. That's
Right.
because they read the play and they are in the right position at the right time 90% of the time.
It's exactly what made Gustafsson the year he was potentially a Vezina finalist. Like that's how he was playing. Like he was just swallowing rebounds. There wasn't a lot of like desperation saves or flopping through the crease. Everything is technical. It's good angles. It's knowing when to come out, when to back up. It's like hockey
what
IQ, but for goalies. Like he's
Yeah.
just
The people that evaluate goalies that aren't actually like that didn't play. I'm like, you are. Every NHL team should be like begging you to come work for them if you're a very good like goalie. I don't know. It's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
scouting goaltending is insane to me because like
it's
you have
heavily
every
dependent
scout
on
in the
defense,
building
and it's
watching
hard to
the play,
separate the two.
and then
Yeah.
you've got the person scouting goaltending where it's just like I will not move my eyes.
You could say it's
Fucking watch.
truly smart scouting.
Well, hang on though.
Go
Let's as a group, show of hands. Raise your hand if you think Gustafsson is closer to what we saw this past season. Raise your hand. If you think he's closer to what we saw the previous season. All right, so we all don't want him to be traded.
No,
So wait,
We've
let
been
me,
reading all night.
yeah, wait. So this is what we mentioned a couple weeks ago on Judd'z Budz Hoppy. I am so curious to see if, because it's apparently still pretty open that the Wild are like, hey, we're still open for business. If someone wants to like,
But no one needs a goalie.
I think there are plenty of teams that are like, yeah, we don't love this situation that we got going on. Let's see what happens the first 15,
there
20
maybe are
games.
teams
And they
that
have
need a-
so many fucking goalies under contract in Minnesota right now. So
Yeah,
like,
I don't know-
that's
I
the
don't
other
know
thing
if it's-
too.
yeah. I don't know if you
I
know.
hate the idea of Wallstedt sitting in the fucking press box and watching games.
Yeah.
Okay, who do you want to play more than 50% of the games this year between Fleury and Wallstedt?
Well,
Neither.
It won't be 50 bit.
Okay, so there's my answer.
Yeah.
And I think Wallstedt and Gustafsson next year as a tandem sounds pretty awesome.
Very appealing. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
No,
I think they'll roll 3 goalies, but how they do it, I think, is to be seen. Like, is it going to be sending Jesper back and forth up and down 35, and then is it spot starts? Because I think
hate that.
He's not going to play much this year. I think we all just have to accept that. Unless one goalie goes down like bad.
It could also just be in spurts, right? Where he comes out for a road trip, plays 2 of the 4, and then goes back down, and then is down there for 10 or something, and then comes back up and plays 4 or whatever. Or is it the easy teams? I don't know. He's gonna play games. I would set the under over around 18. I think is a number I'd
choose an under for sure. I'm like, if he plays 10, I would be surprised, to be honest.
I mean, barring injury, but yeah.
Well, that's like barring injury. Yeah,
I didn't think it's barring injury, but
I put the over under like 15.
He's going to have to earn some starts too over those other guys, but I don't think that's impossible.
I just think Guerin, like, he still just wants to win. He doesn't want to develop a goalie going up and down right now, especially since it's like, all right, Fleury's committed 1 more year. We're going with it.
Don't get it confused.
I think
Guerin doesn't want to win. Leopold wants to win.
Leopold, sorry.
But to Z's
I don't know.
point,
Guerin
you don't
wants
go
to
out and
win.
sign that many goalies if you don't have plans to carry 3 or trade one of them at some point.
I think they know that like having Wallstedt in the press box for like however many games in Minnesota just to like hang out and then get
It's
like
horrible.
a couple starts against dog shit teams. That's fucking terrible. At that point, like, no, like just let him play a full. He's been every year. He's been in the AHL. He's been an all-star. Like let him go do that. Like,
agreed.
Like,
I vote for that.
Yeah.
I vote for him,
especially if they suck.
Yeah, because at the same time, you don't want him playing games like against Dallas. Was he good in that game? No. But also, like, you were playing half an AHL team and they quit like 5 minutes into the game and just let them get shelled with no defensive support whatsoever.
I am totally okay if he plays 90% of the season in the AHL.
Yeah. As long as he's playing meaningful games, whether that's in the AHL or NHL, I don't really care where that is.
Yeah.